we are back. This time for Andor Season 2 finale episodes 10 through 12. Brent with Will. If you're on the live stream, you've already been watching along with us. You already know what this is about. For those who are catching in the recap, this is all for you guys. And as always, be sure to hit that like button and subscribe button if you enjoy the content. But let's jump right into the meat and potatoes of what we saw here. Will, your thoughts before I go on a ramble?
I thought the show was good. Again, I'm going to harp on this that first season gave us exactly what we wanted with pulling Andor together, giving us that spy thriller, that whole espionage feel. Everything felt really good, so I was very excited going into the second season. With the start of the second season, again, this was a slow start, sort of that, with the first few episodes being a bunch of nothing, but they did very well with these 9 episodes going through. In all honesty, I think if they would have added a little bit more on each episode, they could have just had this as a 10 episode season and just called it a day. Through these 3 episodes that we just watched, I think it was a glorious end to the setup for whatever Rogue One is. You would probably be able to, I guess, go more in detail on that since you know exactly what Rogue One is about. So, but right now, like I feel like, yeah, things have come to a head, and it's like, okay, we've got to stop this. So I'm assuming that the Battle of Yavin is about them trying to stop the Death Star from being finished or whatever the case may be. So I, I don't know, but I think it's good. Like lead into it. It's like we got a year's worth of time, and I don't know when that the Battle of Yavin. I know it starts a year from now, whatever. But I don't know what they're gonna do in between time, and I don't know if any of that's covered in the movie. But I'm excited right now to actually sit down and watch the movie and see what happens. So I think this show has done its job for being fantastic and showing all facets of emotion, sacrifice, um, friendships, relationships, how they can be built up, how they can crumble. Like they just did an overall good job with the show.
Yeah, and this show and Rogue One are the two main things that I've been absolutely wrong about Star Wars. When I heard Rogue One was being made originally, I was like, there's absolutely no way you're going to be able to find a way to make a compelling movie in such a short time about such a succinct thing. There's no way it's going to even be good. Turned out to be one of the greatest things Disney did. And then finding out about Andor, I was like, what exactly are we going to be able to even get out of Cassian? Like, I understand that he was a good character in Rogue One, but at the same time, having him be embellished the way he was, I was unsure of what direction we are going to be able to head off with. And again, I'm happily wrong. When I'm wrong, things are usually great. And I'm very happy to be wrong in this instance. This is the perfect handoff from here going into Rogue One, just as Rogue One was the perfect handoff going into A New Hope. Literally, where Rogue One ends, A New Hope picks up. So if you're familiar with the originals, Will, you know exactly where that handoff is, where we're having the Imperials board the ship to go after Leia. The Battle of Yavin is what happens at the culmination of that movie. And that's where the official timeline happens. The Battle of Yavin is the first Death Star, so to speak, because they had Yavin in its sight and they were going to turn this rebel base, into stardust and a bunch of space rocks. And it was going to be great. But, Luke pulled off his 1 in a billion shot by turning off his stuff, and you guys kind of know how it goes. If you followed Star Wars for any period of time, most people usually start with the originals. You're familiar with how the story ends. The writing in this covered every core element that it needed to. This encapsulated more the spirit of rebellion than the originals or the prequels or the sequels ever had. It was entire core element of these are nobodies. These are people that are supposed to lose. These are guys who are down on their luck, women who have been lost everything, sacrificed for all of us in order to ensure peace, prosperity, and justice for this, republic that they're trying to save from the clutches of tyranny. This is exactly what Star Wars at its core has always been. Sure, we love, big lasers and space battles and wizards with lightsabers, Jedi, the Sith, all that fun stuff. It's all fun. We enjoy it. I mean, come on, lightsaber, pew pew. You make the noises when you swing it, even as a kid or someone who's unfamiliar with what we have going on here. But by the same token, somehow Disney was able to recapture that spirit for me when I was a kid of trying to understand what it was like being someone who was learning about everything in the Star Wars universe. So if you want to introduce someone to Star Wars, I think this series is probably a great starting point. and it's definitely something I thoroughly enjoyed. I know no matter what I say, I'm sure there'll be someone either in the comment section here or the comment section for the review video that says, "Hey, you're a shill." But if you're paying any sort of attention, I knock Disney just as much as I'm giving them credit. It's part of being a review channel. You got to be fair. And Andor, the first 3 episodes of season 2 sucked. I don't have a nice way of saying it. The juxtaposition between the first 3 episodes and episodes 4 through 12, it feels like you literally could have probably wrapped this up in the first, like in 3 weeks. You could have given us episodes 4 through 12, called that the trilogy for this, and been done. I don't think we're really missing too much in those first 3 episodes, but at the same time, they made the decisions that they made. So it's not a perfect finish, but at the same time, it was good. It was high quality. It's nice seeing Krennic. It was cool seeing the Death Star. It's probably a shot that most people would be choosing to have for their thumbnail, and I can definitely understand why they would go that route. And seeing Bix at the end gives a whole new meaning to literally everything Cassian sacrificed for. He literally left his mom died for this cause. His girl, carrying his child, had to leave him so he would stay focused and stay on mission, which he chose to not chase after them because he realized the importance of what he was doing and was willing to sacrifice his whole family so he could help save the galaxy.
Part of the family he didn't know he had.
So Cassian deserves all the respect in the world. Keela deserves all the respect in the world. The fact that they were talking as dirty as they were about Luthen at the end was driving me wild, especially considering how many people were in their own little area of isolation. And they're like, we're not going to trust our own spies we send out. Come on, that shouldn't really have checked out. But it was a great show. Followed through pretty well. The actors and actresses did a fantastic job. I don't feel bad for Deidre at all, but again, she is the symbol of what happens when you try and run that rat race and you get burned. There's nothing else that can really be said or done pertaining to that, and things just kind of kept spiraling out from there, and she got burned. Any standout characters or anything other standout that you wanted to really touch upon as we kind of wrap this up? I know I've taken
K2 was a beast. That's my
what.
boy right there. No, the characters I like. I do like, of course, K2 Cassian did a fantastic job. Luthen was by far my favorite character just because of how cryptic he was with kind of playing everything, playing both sides of the fence, and really kind of making the show what it was. Without him, the show wouldn't have gone. I guess I don't think the show would have hit as hard. I think his character was very pivotal in all of this, not just for plot points and stuff like that, but just the way the acting was done. Like, it made me really like I wanted to question him several times over, like, dude, whose side are you on? Like, what are you doing? Like, and that's the good part about it. Like, that's the part that really made me feel like, yo, this is we in the middle of it. Like, this stuff is going wild. So yeah, I think he'd have to be my favorite character. Everyone else kind of like they're cool.
Yeah, it was a really great cast overall. Respect to Mon Mothma, the guy who came in and had to play Bail Organa, tough shoes to be in, did a fantastic job of filling in and kept on the same exact core values that the original actor had. So that's exactly all you can ask for. I'm so tired of people like recasting stuff and actresses just going completely off script. Be like, I wanted a new twist. If that's not what you're hired to do, just don't do it. Just be your character. Carry on the spirit of what was good about said character. And I think Andor overall, for me, I have to give it like an 8.5 out of 10. It was fantastic. Star Wars can still be good. We've had a lot more misses than hits, but hopefully this continues in strong as we go into, waiting now for the Mandalorian and Grogu, which I believe is next on the horizon coming out. I believe June of next year. Someone will probably fact check me on that one. So y'all let me know in the comment section what you like, what you disliked, how much of a shill I apparently am for enjoying this as a Star Wars fan. Any final thoughts, Will?
No, on the show, it was just Disney's got to keep trucking forward with taking their time and putting out good projects. It's like you really need to make sure that you are focused in on telling the story, and that's what as fans and stuff like that. And me speaking for myself specifically, as a fan, I want a good story. So that, like, again, if some things kind of go to the wayside a little bit and so like that, but you bring it back around, I'm with that. If you are able to capture that emotion, I'm with that. And Andor did just that. And Thunderbolts did the same thing. So it's like, Disney, you're doing good this month. So at that, don't mess it up. We got freaking Fantastic Four and Ironheart, which actually should be getting a trailer here soon on the horizon. We'll see what happens.
Yep, you're far more positive than I am, especially when it comes to Ironheart, considering how Wakanda 2 was. But again, as always, hit that subscribe button if you want to listen to us argue about all points Marvel, DC, Lord of the Rings, anime, gaming, Star Wars, and more. I've been Brent with the man, the myth, the Marvel Will. We will see you next time.